Hey everyone, it's Becky from Book Obsessed Becky. I'm coming at you with the quarter year crisis book tag. I have the questions in my notebook here. So if you see me looking down, that's what I'm doing. I figured that I would hop on this tag because it's a good way to keep myself accountable and, you know, a little bit more of getting to know me, I guess. So let's jump in. I will leave all the details down below along with the books that I mentioned and where the tag came from and the questions. And yeah, okay, so let's get started. The first question is, how many books have you read so far this year in 2024? And at the moment I've read 24 books, but I am at the end of 2 books. So I'm almost at the 26th book mark. So I guess 24 is the answer, but I'm almost done 2 others. The next question is, have you already found a book that might be a 2024 favorite of yours? And if not, what's the next closest book? Well, I have a favorite. Actually, I have 2 favorites. The first one I have sitting here, and it is The Frozen River. This was a book of the month pick that I got, I guess, maybe in November or February, I can't remember, or January, I mean. Either way, I absolutely loved this book. Complete 5 stars. I think it takes place in the 1700s. I think that's what it was. I finished this book a little bit ago. And you're in Maine. You're following a midwife in the 1700s, and it's during the winter time, obviously, the frozen river, and you're following her and her family. You're following her as she goes about her life doing midwife things. She is one day called in to see if this body that was found in the river, if the body or the person, I can't remember his name, but was murdered or if it was like an accidental death. She determines that it was murder, and the story goes from there. There are a lot of trigger warnings in here for rape. There's racism. There's, I don't even know, like, check trigger warnings. It's good though. I loved it. I loved getting to know the woman. I think her name was Martha Ballard. Yes. And I read the author's note in the back of this book, and the author said that about, I think she said 75% of this book is based on real life, real people. So yeah, it just made it even better for me. The second book that is a favorite is Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. I'll have a picture inserted here somewhere. And I loved this book. I don't want to say too much about it, but if you love like letters in stories, magical typewriters, war between 2 gods, enemies to lovers, and like fantasy and fantasy creatures and all of that, then definitely pick this one up. There's excellent banter in it. I loved this story so much, and I'm actually almost at the end of the second one in the series, which is called Ruthless, Vows, and I'm really enjoying that as well. And a little word to the wise, which I wish I'd known, was Divine Rivals ends on a huge cliffhanger. So keep that in mind if you decide to pick that book up. Okay, what's your least favorite book so far this year? That is easy. Okay, I've already DNF'd one book. I think it was called Sunny. I have no idea who the author was. I can't remember. I'll insert the picture here. I DNF'd it. It was not for me. And I can't even remember very much about it other than there was a lot of talk about dieting and needing a man in your life. It wasn't for me. But the book that I finished that I did not like was a book club pick, and it was Kayla by Colin Walsh. And I thought I was going to love this book because it's supposed to be a thriller. you're following 6 characters, 3 boys and 3 girls. You're following them from their teenage years, and then you jump ahead in time to like 2018 as like where they're adults. But in their teenage years, one of the characters goes missing. They never find her body. They don't know what happens to her. Jump ahead, and some sketchy things are going on, and 2 girls end up missing, and it gets some of the other characters really thinking about their friend that ended up missing when they were teenagers. I really thought I would like it, but there is a lot of, I don't know, like there's violence in it, but the men in this story are all dirtbags with the exception of one. They're abusive. There are dog fights in here, and I am not about animal cruelty, and I think that's what really sealed the deal with me on how I felt about this book. It was not for me. Definitely check trigger warnings before picking this one up if you're into thrillers, and if any of that sounds good to you about like following 6 characters from teenage years to adult, thriller, missing girl, like if that sounds like it's your jam, then definitely check trigger warnings because there is a ton in this book. Okay, my most read genre so far is fantasy, which is kind of surprising. Maybe this is my year of fantasy, I don't know, but I'm kind of loving it at the moment. So the book I'm reading right now, Ruthless Vows, obviously is a fantasy, and then I have The Housemaid or something that I'm reading, which is not fantasy, but yeah, I am like inhaling all the fantasy apparently, and it's not just in books, but I'm also doing it in movies as well, which is kind of weird, but whatever. So most read genre, fantasy. A book that surprised me the most that I've read this year so far is Divine Rivals. I don't know why. I don't even know what I was expecting, but I'd heard a little bit about it and I was like, I don't think I want to spend the money on this. So I got it from the library, and I got it through the Libby app, and when I was reading it, I was highlighting, I was, you know, making notes, I was doing the whole deal. I just fell in love with the book, and I don't even know why I didn't think that it would be for me. Maybe it's because, I don't know, God's at War or following 2 journalists or whatever, but either way, I was completely wrong. The book was definitely a surprise for me because I loved it. Like I said, it's one of my favorite books so far this year. All right, a book that has already come out in 2024 that I want to get to but I haven't gotten to yet is The Women by Kristin Hannah. I have read The Nightingale by her. I have read Four Winds by her. I've read Firefly Lane by her. All 3 of those books made me cry. Like, some of the books I cried a bit harder in, but either way, I cried and I loved them. And this book really piqued my interest because my dad was in Vietnam, and this book is following a woman that follows her brother into Vietnam, and she wants to be a nurse or something, which I thought, wow, that's dedication, like following your brother into a war. But yeah, I'm super interested in reading this. I don't know why I've been putting it off because I got it the month that it came out. I don't know if it's like one of those books that I'm like, oh, it's going to be so good that I'm going to wait until the special moment to read it, or I think it's going to be so good but I'm worried that it might disappoint. Maybe that's why I keep putting it off. I'm not really sure, but this is the pick for that question, The Women. Has anybody else read this? What do you think of it if you have? Please let me know down below because, like I said, I'm excited for it and I'm nervous about it all at the same time. Okay, a goal that I made that I am succeeding at so far. So I tend to stress out about the amount of books that I put on my Goodreads challenge. So the past couple of years I've been putting 24 on, but I always go over it. Well, I put 24 on this year and I've already obviously hit the 24 mark. And that makes me happy. And another goal that I have related to books that I'm happy about, that I've been mostly keeping up with, is posting on YouTube every week some bookish kind of content. So that makes me happy. One goal that I still need to focus on, so I have a blog. It's called bookobsessedbecky.com, and it's like, it's all of my reading on there and my reviews, and also like things that I get up to each month, you know, that I might really enjoy or whatever. There's different things on there. Well, I have a tendency to read a book and finish it, put it off to the side and be like, oh, I'll get to it, like writing down the notes soon, and then I'll write my post about it. Well, I do that so many times, and then I'm like 5 or 6 books behind on writing my post for my blog. So as of right now, I think I'm like 5 or 6 books behind, and I'm in the middle of writing this one, this post. That's why I have tabs right here, so I remember the quotes that I wanted to put in. But I finished this book, was it last month or the month before? I can't remember, but I'm behind anyways. So I really need to work on keeping my blog up to date. I gotta adjust again, sorry. But yeah, if you're interested in some things that I might be getting up to, or books that I read that you want to be kind of more, I want to say more up to date on, but I just said I'm behind. But I'm going to fix that. So when I get all that fixed, which hopefully will be soon, if you want to be more up to date on my reading and things like that, then definitely check out my then definitely check out my blog, and it is bookobsessedbecky.com. I don't know why I stumbled through that, but holy cow. Okay, the last question in the tag is new to me booktubers, bookstagrammers, booktokers that I would recommend. So I don't do book talk, and all the bookstagrammers that I follow are ones that I've been following for a long time. But I did discover 2 new channels on YouTube that I've enjoyed, and I will include their information down below. But one is Liv's Library, and what I've seen so far, she reads romance and fantasy and some other things in there. And then Taylor, I think it's Taylor Tibbet or Tibbet. I don't know. The spelling will be down below. And as far as I can tell, she reads quite a bit of everything. And she is an airline stewardess. I think so. So you kind of see her with her job, like the different flights that she takes and things like that, which I kind of find very interesting and I have been enjoying. So I would recommend those 2. But yeah, so that's the answers to the questions of the quarter year crisis book tag. Let me know if you're going to be participating in this, or if you have a channel, like link it down below so I can check it out, or if you have any recommendations for channels to check out. And how is your reading going so far in 2024? Are there books that you are stoked about reading that you have on your shelves but you haven't gotten to? Have you read any of the ones I've talked about? Yeah, that's pretty much it. And I guess I will end the video here, and I hope everybody is doing well. If I can figure it out, I may include some clips from the eclipse that just happened on Monday. My family and I chased it, and yeah, it was pretty awesome to see the whole eclipse and not just part of it. If I can figure it out. If not, I'll just insert a picture at the end so you can see the like eclipse, and it's like total covering or whatever, like the moon totally covering the sun or whatever. But yeah, it was very cool. Anyways, I will talk to you all very soon, and I hope you're all doing well. Bye.